All right. So we got a lot of sports media to talk about before we get to baseball. We're going to get to baseball, but there's a lot that happened today as far as sports media. We're going to talk about media a little bit here as well. This happened earlier. Robert Marchand, excuse me. No starting run. I'm sorry. Robert Marchand for NFL Media. I'm sorry. Robert Marchand report. Let me do that again. I'm still on camera. Yeah, I'm on camera. Robert Marchand reported that ESPN is nearing a deal to require NFL Media. That would include NFL landing the ESPN landing the NFL Network as well as the Red Zone as well. This has been worked for a while. They've been paring down at the NFL Network. They've had less shows. They got rid of a lot of the morning football. They went ahead and did that. So we've been hearing this for a while that ESPN eventually is just going to buy the NFL Network and just partner with it. And so what this does is it gives the NFL, they're going to buy an equity stake in the ESPN. So I think this is good for both sides, I think, as far as financially at least. I think this is good for both sides as well. NFL Films, I kind of think of NFL Network as NFL Films. So they're going to own the whole thing. It's interesting to see if they actually run NFL Network or they just consolidate it into their current content. We'll see. I have not heard that for sure yet if they're going to go ahead and do that. UFL, 4 markets for 2026. The entire USFL conference is going to relocate. I saw a couple things. I don't know exactly where these teams are going, but I could say Birmingham and a lot of those teams in the UFL that are there are not going to be there. This is very strange to me. Why is the USFL teams not there? Why the 4 teams in the old XFL teams get to stay? So that includes the Commander, the DC Defenders, I'm assuming. But I think this is a very weird set of circumstances. I know Driving to the Top, I know they do a UFL show. I'm sure they're going to be talking about this as well. But they are going to have a 3rd season. Some teams are relocate. I heard Iowa. Other cities are going to take over the USFL. Interesting to see with that. Again. Interesting there. All right. Sports media, we're going to talk about Fox for sure. I'm going to go on Cole. I'm even going to talk about Stephen Colbert because that's a big deal. That's a big deal. All right. Fox expanded. I saw this just right before I went on. They've expanded their First Things First talk show from 2 hours to 3 hours, and they've added Danny Parkers as a regular analyst. And so it'll be on from 3 to 6 now as well. So I think they were on. I'm not even sure. I think it was 3 to 4:30 before, and then Speak came on. So now they're going to go ahead and absorb that. Parkins was on their show, their morning show, which you know I'm going to do Breakfast Ball, and so not a surprise that Parkins is going to be there. I thought I saw like he might only be there 1 hour, 2 hour. So I think that's probably right that he's going to be on First Things First. So they're giving it more time. They're going to add Parkins there as well. That makes sense as well, considering what's coming here as well. So interesting to see First Things First, the surviving show on FS1, along with Colin Cowherd as well. No surprise. And First Things First now, if you're wondering why didn't bother First Things First, it's now become the number 1 rated show on all the network. So shout out to them getting that as well. Nick Wright being there the whole time since they debuted years ago with Chris Carter. Like, bet y'all forgot that. All right, we're going to talk about Barstool here, FS1 partnership with Barstool. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I'm going to tie the Barstool thing in, but I want to talk about Stephen Colbert this week because those of you that don't know, and I'm going to tie it in, but I'm going to go off to be a little bit off sports here as well, because I think this is a bigger deal than what people think it is. Certainly in media, if you're in traditional media, this is bad. Very, 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 very bad. Very bad for you. Okay, so traditional media. Stephen Colbert was fired this week. Sundance Media is going to buy or become the parent company of CBS, Paramount, a lot of companies. This week they have a merger going through apparently right now. And so what's going on is they are trying to buy it as well. So Stephen Colbert was fired from his late night talk show. He's been there for 10 years. Colbert been the late night host. He's been a late night host for a long, long time. Was on the Daily Show with Jon Stewart. Check that out if you haven't seen the Jon Stewart response to that. So he was fired after 10 years as well. And they are canceling The Late Show. My favorite show, one of my favorite comedians all the way growing up was David Letterman. So I love to watch David Letterman as a young kid. So I always watch The Late Show. I'm big, still to this day, love David Letterman fan. Okay, what does this have to do with I'm getting here, right? So what we're talking about is the late night show was canceled for financial reasons. So I thought that was just crazy that would be it. So this is why a lot of people in media are saying that as well. Donald Trump, we're going to talk a little bit about Trump. I'll break the rule a little bit to talk a little bit about Trump. Is apparently was very unhappy with Stephen Colbert. Apparently the rumor is he wanted him fired, or he's kind of certainly it isn't a rumor. He tweeted out saying, "I'm glad he's gone. I don't like this guy." Blah blah blah. All right, so that happened. So, and it was a settlement that's been reported, $16 million that was paid from CBS. I keep saying CBS, Paramount, the parent company, and to the Trump administration, $16 million as far as a lawsuit. So not only he was actually paid, President Trump was actually paid $16 million. All right, what does this have to do with that? I'm getting there, right? So $16 million. $16 million was actually paid out to them. So some people believe that this is a bribe. They're trying to grease the wheels so Trump can go ahead and approve their merger. There's billions of dollars involved. They want to get this done. They want to go ahead and make sure they don't want the FCC and Trump and all this and the administration to hold us up. They got rid of Colbert to actually do. Some people believe that. Maybe that's right. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. Some people believe Colbert's been cracking on Trump, and they're saying that Trump was, because of that, all the jokes he makes, that Trump was offended by that, and that's the reason, not the financial side, whatever. I kind of don't buy that one either. Like, why would you even hire Stephen Colbert in the first place, right? Or Jon Stewart or Bill Maher? These guys, they do political comedy, so why all of a sudden would that be? I can't imagine that's. So I don't think that's what it is. So that's a whole nother thing. So you talk about that. I don't know if that's. It could be true. It could factor in. Sometimes when you lose a job, it's more than one reason. Like often. So those could be factoring. When you see people in media acting the wow, and their eyes go like, "Oh, I can't believe," because for years, and I think this is the bad sign, the late night show was the cash cow for the network, right? Not the primetime shows. The primetime shows might make money or some money or whatever. And another thing, they're not introducing many primetime shows right now. They are like ABC's and are reducing one show for the fall, new show. 911, that's it. So a lot of these things, they're cutting back across the board. So you see that as well. So the late night show apparently is reported, and I don't know if this is true, obviously, but $40 million they lost. This is bad for media because you got a show that was the cash cow for the network losing $40 million. It's over. Because this was like 300 million, 400 million. That's why they paid so much for Colbert and a lot of these guys, because they make so much money for the network. That's why they wanted these type shows. They made so much money. David Letterman and all these guys, Johnny. That's why they had so much pull in the network, because they made them so much money. That was the thing that cost it. as well. So that's bad. That's very, very bad. Very, very bad. I think the next thing is going to be where they actually cut actual now, and it hasn't happened yet, actual strong, pillar cable channels. CNN is still around. MSNBC is still. That's the next thing when they actually shut the doors of a major. They shut some small ones down. That's happening a lot, but they shut the major one down. Now, what's this have to do with Barstool, right? Barstool, FS1 fired all their talent. FS1-barstool, which is, I think, you could argue this is the number one podcast network, sports podcast network, and they're going to go ahead and take over at FS1, 8 to 10 in the morning, the old spot for Carton in First Things First. And I'm hearing, according to a college podcast, they're going to run it again at 10 o'clock. Again, I don't think they're going to leave it like that. I have heard a rumor of Kellerman and Marcellus doing something, or reality. I continue to hear those things, and I think it's still a work in progress as well. But for now, they're going to have Cowherd 12 to 3, and they're going to have Nick Wright and company First Things First 3 to 6. And I think probably, my guess is they're going to have one more show at that 10-12 in the first take spot. That's probably what I'm guessing. Fox can't figure it out. That's wild. Fox can't get a show. You need Dave Portnoy and Barstool to come in. He's going to be on FS1. He's going to be on the big new kickoff. He's going to do all these things. Him and Big Cat and then the Pardon My Take guys are going to come in. He's already selling ESPN. So it is over for legacy media. That's bad. Colbert getting fired. The whole slot getting fired. Everybody's it's over. There's no hope. There's going to be no more big money a lot of times. Stephen A. and a lot of these guys, these are going to be the last of these big salaries in cable as well in traditional media, unless you have what we're trying to build here, Ravori Sports Podcast that deals with footprint. So, long sermon there about media. And so, we again, talk to Dan Lane, DCR TV. So, check that out, their interview. But watch your digital media. We are now becoming the media. It's over for them. I'm calling it. Like, they can't.